But first, we'll bring you up to speed with what you've been talking about. That's why Bukola joins me now to tell us what you've been saying on X. Bukola.
Yeah, hello again, Jeffrey. Surprisingly, Nigerians are talking very little about Christmas. They're talking about the economy. They're reflecting on why we need to borrow more, and that's where we started off our conversation from. And of course, besides that very big concern about articulated vehicles, of course, stemming from the accident that occurred on Mile 2 Road yesterday. Nigerians are also reacting to that. But let's start with the issue of more borrowing needed despite improved revenue, as stated by agencies of government, of course, specifically the Minister of Finance and the chairperson of the Federal Inland Revenue Service. Johnson is the first user. Johnson says, and you said you have saved $20 billion in the last 1 year and still borrowing just $2.2 billion to finance 2025 budget. Seems you are lying to us.
Okay, those are the contradictions Nigerians are not quite clear with. So let's talk about what Samuel is saying. Do you know we are now 134 trillion? Okay, I don't know what this means. Problem there. 134 trillion in debt, or what exactly are you talking about, Samuel? We're not sure. Maybe add something to it so we have an explanation to that. Caller.
Mr. Soje said, it's all right. I guess it's trying to say it's all right. So the $20 billion saved from fuel subsidy cannot be put to economic use without borrowing. Abi, make or not continue. Well, okay. Perhaps the clarification should have come about whether or not that $20 billion was saved, or it was a measure of increase in allocation that has since gone to the state governors. But even at that, we're going to ask what the justification for the increased allocation is, as we've been doing, for the better part of the year.
Bukola, I agree with Professor Kishigo again that one of the problems of this administration, I mean, literally everybody, is that they are great at information dissemination, not at communication. That is where the problem is. There should be a communication director that, directs how to communicate to Nigerians some of these things. But that's why Nigerians are confused.
We have a surfeit of communicators.
Forget that team. With the greatest sense of respect, I respect all the people on that team, but I will maintain what I said. Truth be told, the borrowings reflect the reality of how bad the economy is. Now, person will no fit afford lifestyle, they borrow. The more Nigerians borrow, the more the economy, they bad shape. Okay, this is a mix of everything. The day Tinubu stops borrowing, know that either the country is getting better or it has maxed out its loans.
Deep words there. Let's go to the next talking point. Nigeria's GDP grew by 3.46% in quarter 3, 2024, says NBS. And Mega Mixer is the first user who says, while the growth is a welcome development, any growth in economic indices that doesn't translate to food on the table of Nigerians amounts to nothing. Remember, no be statistics we want chop. May Nigeria succeed? And that's the big question. The contradiction between the reported growth and what we're seeing, Nigerians are seeing in reality as they go to work and as they return home and find very little on their table.
Economics will be here to break it down for us. Okay, Senat says economic growth because of much more they are borrowing, over tax and over duty being paid at port. Does that growth reflect on our lives as Nigerians? How much is the cost of living in Nigeria? Does our salaries pay our bills? Make us continue to deceive on ourselves. So a lot of pessimism, right?
Yeah, a lot of pessimism. Rahman says, show evidence of those that got employment as well. Show companies that have come into the country. Meanwhile, how is egg? How has egg reduced to 25 to 30 naira? Well, the other day I bought one for 300 naira. One egg. Yeah.
Okay. Johnson says, how did you arrive at the data in this report? How would the economy receive such growth where 70% of citizens have been under severe pains of hunger, middle class collapsed totally, and disposable income entered negative level among citizens? For me, for me, at the end of the day, one of the data I do not like to refer to, not because I'm looking for a blight or negative news, is the unemployment numbers. Since the methodology was changed, it used to be 40 hours. That's how we modeled it, but now changed to 1 hour per week. And I listened to Yemi Kale, the former statistician general, who is now the chief economist at the AFDB, and I agree with him totally that when you put out numbers, I'm talking about unemployment now, not GDP. Our GDP has grown, so that's not debatable. when you put down numbers, it's to help policymakers make a decision. When you begin to, if they are stuck with the other numbers, it gives the policymakers some level of understanding on how to approach it with a sense of urgency. But this, even if I'm a policymaker, I would chill. 4.3 or 5.3, you know, it doesn't hit. You understand? So if it was 34 and it's not 33 and it's not 30, it's something Nigerians can quickly relate to. So I know Yemi Kale was under pressure to change that methodology, but he refused till he left office. This gentleman who came, changed it.
In simple terms, if a toddler is supposed to be growing at a certain rate and the toddler is growing at a very insignificant rate, it gives the parents cause for concern about stunted growth. So if Nigeria is to record significant growth according to the experts, it has to be double-digit kind of growth, both for GDP and the other indices to be calculated for the growth. But even at 4.2% or is it 3.42%,
5.3
that is being reported now, it leaves much to be desired. So many questions need to be asked about how we even achieved this in the first place, considering what the experience has been in the last 1 year.
Okay, so would advise the next video we want to play that has to do with the accident around Mile 2 area. Viewer discretion is advised because some of our viewers may find it sensitive. So let's take a look. A gentleman literally survived. I don't know how he survived it anyway. So
miracle.
It's nothing short. So that's the video. That's a 40-foot container was latched to I think a trailer. For whatever reason, it fell on the vehicle. So the camera will move. Let's just watch and see so you can appreciate the miracle that literally happened. Yeah, so see the vehicle,
right there,
right under there,
crushed by the 40-foot container. You can see.
That's it. So it's we understand the person survived. The person survived.
The person survived.
We understand the person. How the person survived is it's a total miracle. In my view.
It's inexplicable.
It's inexplicable. It's a miracle. So.
And I guess, according to report, it was only that person that was the occupant of that vehicle. I wonder if we'll be telling a different story if there were other occupants of the vehicle.
All right. Well, totally. Okay, let's hear your thoughts on this particular one. Because I just read. That's why when I'm driving through Ojueleba, I don't like driving under. I like to use the bridge. Udiega, let's take just two. Udiega says, I hope fire service FRS in Nema is able to respond in time, not be only to the collectors. This is sad because I have TZ.
TZ says heavy-duty trucks should move between 10 p.m. at night to 6 a.m. in the morning. Mingling with other commuters on the road is highly dangerous. Now, I've had my own fair share of the experience as far as accidents with articulated vehicle is concerned. My vehicle was hit by a car just at the middle of this year, and it was a very grim experience for me, and it was a clear case of brake failure. So we've talked time and again about the lack of capacity of the safety agencies and their sister agencies to police these articulated vehicles on the road. If we did the calculation, perhaps articulated vehicles have killed more people in the country in the last decade than certain diseases. So questions should be asked about, which company owned that 40-foot container. Will damages be paid, to the gentleman who has suffered a loss of, his vehicle, because that vehicle evidently has become a write-off. But thankfully, the gentleman survived. So these are the issues.
Well, today we can't take any more of your thoughts, but thank you for bringing them to us. When I get to that very first conversation about our GDP growth and everything that has to do with the economy, join us again.